summation. I don't know how we've been doing it before I got here, but let's do it the same way.
Yes, sir. The Board of Electrical Contractors was established by Act 1985, 921. This board, 30th, 2023, is $420,000. This is $35,000 per month. There are a requirement for unused funds with this board. Any unspent or unencumbered funds at the end of the fiscal year in excess of $100,000 must be transferred into the state general fund on or before January 15th of the succeeding year. This board issues 3 types of licenses. They have a total of 5,103 active licensees as of December of 2020. They have 98% of their renewals performed online. Their financials are located on page 14. In fiscal year 2022, they had revenues or receipts of $825,880 and disbursements of $911,596.
I'm sorry,
Representative Simpson.
I'm sorry, thank you. I think I have this wrong, but I'm just checking. You said their receipts for 2022 are what?
$825,880.
What would be the professional services contract for 2022?
The amount paid for professional, the 2022 contract amount, don't let me mistake.
Not for, I believe, for Smith Moore and Services.
$420,000 was paid in 2022.
Half of the receipts go to professional services? Okay. Okay.
While we're on that, what'd you say the disbursements were?
$911,596.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas? Unless there are any other questions along those lines right now.
The significant issues for this board are on page 7. The first significant issue, the only current one, is 13 of the 23 licensees that responded to our survey, or 57%, indicated that the most significant issue currently facing their profession in Alabama is the shortage of skilled labor or qualified electrical contractors performing electrical work. The next issue, I do need to let you guys know, there was a change. I found an error in my report. I apologize from what I emailed you. The current report you have in front of you is correct, but there is a change from what I sent you out a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And that is in the second line under current status, that $8,000 number. It says $15,488.04. The ones that you were emailed said $8,000. So this issue has to do with reporting encumbrances and accounts payable at the end of the fiscal year to the Comptroller's office. This was an issue in 2020 in the legal compliance examination, and so we followed up. The board encumbered $24,161 at the end of fiscal year 21. They expended $15,488.04 in the next fiscal year. That's a difference of $8,673. The board encumbered $63,357 at the end of fiscal year 22 and expended $41,585.40. That's a difference of $21,772. Additionally, at the end of fiscal year 2021, the board's unreserved cash balance was $253,000, yet the board transferred $177,765.54 to the state general fund, which was more than they were statutorily required to do because they're only supposed to do the amount over $100,000. Further, at the end of fiscal year 22, the board's unreserved cash balance was $128,691. However, the board transferred $9,419.32 to the state's general fund, which does not meet the amount statutorily required.
Let me ask you something. I heard you call out those numbers, but I didn't. They overpaid
They overpaid one, and then they underpaid the next time, and the differences don't match
They
up.
didn't, okay.
It didn't appear to offset that way.
Okay. That was my question, yeah.
Yes. Okay. On page 8, if you turn over, there was a prior finding and the legal compliance examination from 2020. The board adopted an administrative rule to issue and charge a $75 fee for a provisional license that is not authorized by statute. The board continues to issue and charge fees for a provisional license. The board has initiated legislation to correct this several times without success, so the board is charging a fee for a provisional license, and there's nothing in the statute that allows for it.
Representative Stinson.
So wait a second. There was a prior finding in 2020 of the Sunset Committee, or of your examination, that said statutorily you are not authorized to collect these fees. I understand they may have presented legislation to try to change that. However, are you telling us that in the 2022, they are still current status, they are still collecting these fees?
Yes.
We're gonna need somebody to come and answer on that specifically tomorrow. Or Mr. Warren, are you the director of that? Could you come add to this conversation? Do you mind?
No.
So the provisional license was added in 2010 when the statute was changed, and as you can see in my response, the number of years we have presented legislation to correct this. However, this provisional license does keep people working in the areas. Now, we can stop, but, I mean, it's a license that's been created. Senator Coleman Madison and I had this conversation last year, and she remembered why, and we do continue to, but we've got to issue the license. We can stop issuing the license and they wouldn't have, and we'd be putting people out of work. So we're trying to keep people working on that license.
How much money do you make from that license?
Just $75.
Now, how much money do you make total? How many people are paying that license?
565 people.
Hold on just a second. I just want to do this real quick.
Sure.
565 people are paying $75. So that's $42,375. Okay, so we're going to put people out of work so you can continue to make $420,000 a year, knowing that the statute does not apply, does not give you that authority, and continuing to do so even though legislation has failed.
Whoop! Mr. Chairman, can I be recognized?
Yes, ma'am.
So what would they do if the license was not being authorized? Who would do that work?
They would have to go and hire a licensed electrical contractor who is a statewide contractor that has the authority to work all over the state. A provisional is just an individual that is limited to the area that they were licensed previously to the law changing in 2010.
Are there ways for the counties to issue those?
Yes.
We could go back and
Yes.
make that change statutorily, but I mean, it's going to require a statutory change.
No,
I'm just asking questions. I don't have
Yes.
any recommendation for what we need to do. I'm just trying to flesh out.
But not all counties issue a license for electrical. Not all
Only
counties have
Birmingham.
electrical,
Only
licenses.
Birmingham. Sorry.
Senator Kelly.
Okay, so you're gonna have to help me here, but.
Yes, sir.
So, we have a known law that has been ruled that this is in violation of that law. And the continued actions from the time that has been aware is that it is knowingly and willfully violated that law ever since and continues to this day. So you have a board that this body is responsible for, and their leadership or advisory or consultant, management fee, whatever, everyone knowingly violating that law, even though there have been attempts to try to rectify that unsuccessfully. So we have a knowingly organization
Yep.
that is violating this law willfully. Is
Yep.
that a correct statement?
Yes.
Unfortunately, that is correct. Yes, sir.
And who ultimately is responsible for making that decision to violate that law?
Keith Warren.
The board and myself taking directions from the board.
I'm not an attorney, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But it seems like that there is a type of fiduciary duty somewhere here being violated. And so the board's responsibility is to make sure that's not been